Just like I showed you before, some of that gesture kind of based animation stuff, yeah, you're delivering the punches, the strikes there. Now if I wanted to block, I can be trying to parry, which is simply holding down the right trigger and flicking the stick, or just block, which is hold the right trigger. So that's some of the defensive options that we have. You can also catch kicks in the game. You can do a lot of really interesting things. Now here, let's go ahead and check out some of the submission stuff. So here I'm going to go ahead and take you down. I'm going to jump into side control there again, just pressing A. Now to initiate a submission, we want a consistency of control. So you will always know that X is your submission button. I press X, boom, here I am going for that armbar. This is his specialty, right? He's a jiu-jitsu guy. Now we have two kinds of submission games, the joint lock submission and the choke submission. In a joint lock like this one, you're going to see the bone. And as I put more pressure, notice how the red is becoming even deeper. It's almost as if the meter is involved in the action, so you're still watching the action as you're immersed in the fight. We don't want you looking all over the screen for different cues or washing your car wondering what's going on. We want you to actually see what's happening. Now, if you were to press the B button, you'll notice, boom, you're going to start to escape. Now continue to press B to escape this. Boom, you notice that the X-ray goes away. I lose the submission. Boom, you get an advantageous position in my closed guard for having escaped. So there's all kinds of rock, paper, scissors elements to this. Now let me go ahead and try another submission. Trying an arm bar. Now here, if we were actually battling back and forth, I'm pressing that X button, but you're pressing that B button. Notice that our stamina is kind of the fuel that enables us to continue fighting. I can only keep pressing for as much stamina as I have. Now we take account, things behind the scenes. For example, the fact that he's a jiu-jitsu master, Fabricio Verdum, my presses mean a little bit more than yours do. And inevitably, I'm going to be able to sink an arm bar. But there is that strategy there. You will be able to escape that submission. It'll just be a little bit tougher, as it should be, against a guy who's a jiu-jitsu wizard versus a guy who's more interested in his stand-up game.
Now that was actually one of my questions coming in today is, with all the different variations of matches and the different fighters, what did you guys have to do as far as to balance everything out?
That certainly was one of the fun challenges, because yeah, like you mentioned, in MMA fight, there's so much more to consider. You've got stand-up ability, clinch ability, ground ability, fighters that are good in two and not the third. There are so many things to have to take into account, and you know how you balance a game? You just play the hell out of it. I mean, we've been playing this game now in a playable form for a long time, and we have QA testers that are very good at what they do. And I'll even name check one right now. There's a guy named Mark Taylor who works very closely with the gameplay team, plays the game, you would think religiously. And the moment he noticed a little something or something that could get exploited online, boom, he sits right next to our creative director. He would turn to him and say, hey, I just noticed if I'm in so-and-so position, I'm using this fighter, and I'm doing this, there's no way for the other guy to escape. Oh, red alarm, let's fix that right now. So, that's what you do when it comes to balancing. You play the hell out of the game to try to figure out what would happen once you kind of sent it onto the open.
Right.
Here we'll jump back in for one more. And, if this was our couch scenario, the last fight was our rematch, this is what we call the rivalry fight. So, we fought each other 3 times in a row, this is like a rivalry. We're building up a rivalry, the history is being told by the commentators. It's not just playing out in our heads, So here what we're going to do is try a choke submission. This time I'll go ahead and let you give me the business. So go ahead, press A for the takedown. Again, that advances your position. Now here, press A again. You're going to move from half guard into side control one more time with the A button into full mount postured down. Now press A one more time for that postured up position we saw before. Now one of my options here is to kind of give up my back. Not ideal, but it's an option. I did that by pressing Y. Now here, submit button is always the same. It's always going to be press the X button. Boom. Now you see you're going for the rear naked choke. You're going for a submission, but notice this is the second style of submission. The previous one was a joint lock. This one is a choke submission. So the mechanic is a little bit different, but no less engaging. So here, we're going to notice that a little marker is going to be floating around. And what you're trying to do with your left stick is follow that elusive sweet spot to lock in the choke. Now, as I am closer to escaping, the circle will get wider, and the camera will have a better perspective or more clear. You'll notice, though, as you lock it in tighter, go ahead and lock it in tight, finish me off. You'll notice that the screen actually comes in tighter. It gets darker. You almost feel that pressure in your head as you're locking in that choke, and that's something we heard from the fighters. What's it like to get choked out? Well, you start getting this tunnel vision that closes in really tight, and then you wake up and you ask the ref, what just happened? We wanted to try to emulate that, that closing and that pinching sensation on your head when it comes to a choke submission. So not only visually does it, reflect the sport of MMA, It also helps us to know, ooh, it's getting tight. I'm about to get choked out, or oh, I'm about to escape. Thank God, because he was about to finish me. You know.